Hey there, welcome to another Slightly Redneck video. It's Thanksgiving morning, so I thought I'd just do a quick video here on what I do to roast my turkey. Really, I use a pretty simple technique to roast the turkey. You don't have to get all kinds of complex. I'm going to rub it down with the fat. I'm going to put it breast side down in a roasting pan, and I'm going to cover it with some carrots, or not cover it, but surround it with some carrots, some celery, and some onion. And that's really about it. The fat I'm going to use to rub it down, you can use olive oil, you can use butter, you can use whatever. I've got a nice herb butter that I made this morning. It's going to give a good aromatic, so that's pretty easy. What I did, if you can see it, what I did was I took I took a stick of butter, about a tablespoon each of fresh sage, rosemary, and thyme, chopped those up real good, mixed them in with this butter. Then I formed it into kind of a log, stuck it in the freezer for a little while so it's solidify up and I can work with it. So what I'm going to do is just cut some slices off of this and shove them up underneath the skin. So I'll bring you in close and kind of show you how that works. But my point to this video is that roasting a turkey does not have to be complex. You can definitely inject the bird if you want to with stuff. You can do all kinds of marinades, all kinds of stuffings. I'm not even going to stuff the cavity of this bird because there's no need to really. You can just do it very, very simple and it's going to turn out good. I've done nothing more than just rubbed it down with olive oil, salt and pepper, and baked it breast side down, and it turns out great. So it's very easy to do, actually. One thing I do recommend is that you brine your bird for about 10 hours at least before you cook it. This bird has been brined. If you've seen my video on how to brine a turkey, I'll put a link here so you can click on that and watch that. But it's been brined for about 10-11 hours. I took it out of the brine this morning. I rinsed it off real good, got all the brine off of the turkey, and then patted it dry. And now it's ready for me to rub down and get in the roasting pan. So let me bring the camera in at a different angle so you can see what I'm doing here, and we'll get going. Alright, so you can probably see my workstation pretty well here. So what I'm going to do is just, this butter, I don't know if you can see it in the camera lens or not. This butter over here, I'm just going to take a knife and cut off little chunks of it like that, little slivers, and then shove them up inside the cavity of the bird. So I'll show you kind of how this works. What you can do is just take the bird here on the back end. This is the breast side of the bird, leave it laying up. Reach up in here and you can kind of push the skin away from the meat a little bit on each side. And I'm going to put a little bit of pat of butter inside each one of these things. So, good thing about working with frozen butter is you can just shove it up in there. It doesn't get all over your hands. It's much easier to work with. Put one or two on each side of this bird. A couple up on the top. And just shove it back in there as far as you can get it. And push it around. And that will melt and just run all through that section of bird. So it's okay, and that's pretty good. I've got nice butter all through it. You can kind of massage that stuff, move it forward onto the breast of the bird, use up whatever else you got, just shove it in there. And that's really about all I need to do to it. One thing I should mention is I'm cooking this bird in a roasting oven, so the skin's not going to get all brown like it would in a regular oven. I'm also cooking it breast side down. If you're cooking it in a regular oven in like a roasting pan, then I still suggest cook the bird breast side down. But if you want the skin on the bird to be all nice and golden brown and pretty like what you see in the pictures, flip the bird over for the last, I don't know, half hour of cooking, and that skin will brown. I'm not going to do that. I don't really care if the skin gets browned or not. I'm really more worried about a juicy white meat and it doesn't dry out like so many turkeys do whenever you cook it. So what I'm going to do is just put it right in my roasting pan here. Well, let me get the legs tucked back in. And for good measure, I'm going to throw one more stick of butter inside there. I'm just going to take a whole stick of butter, stick it right down in the cavity of the bird, and that'll melt and produce all kinds of goodness. So I'm going to take this bird, let me get it in the pan here, and then I'll bring the camera around so you can see what we're doing. So, or actually I'll bring the roasting pan to you. Okay, so you can see all I've done is just set the bird in there. I set it breast side down, and then what I've got here is some carrots, just probably 2 carrots, scatter them around it, a couple of onions, or 1 onion actually, all quartered up and diced up, scatter that around there. It's going to give some nice base for that turkey to kind of cook in a nice aromatic. And a couple stalks of celery. I think I've got 2 stalks of celery just roughly chopped. So, and that's it as far as preparation goes. I might sprinkle some salt and pepper on the top of this bird, but that's about it. And then it's ready to roast. And all you do is, if you're using a roasting pan like I am, or a roasting pan in the oven, either way, it doesn't matter. Stick it in the oven at 350 degrees. This is about a 16-pound bird, so it's going to take 2.5 to 3 hours probably to cook. If you brine your bird, they do tend to cook a little bit faster than what the instructions say, and I think this one said it was going to take 3.5 hours or 3 hours. So I'm going to put it in, and I'm going to check the temperature at about 2 hours, a little over 2 hours. I'm going to start checking the temperature at that point. So nothing more to show really until that point. There's no need to baste your bird. It does nothing but lower the temperature of your oven and make your bird cook unevenly when you open that oven up. So you want to, once you close the oven up, you want to leave it closed as long as possible. Let the bird cook. So I'm going to get this thing started here in just a little bit, and then I'll come back and show you when it's time to check the temperature. But literally, all I'm going to do is stick it in the oven, 350 degrees, and I'm going to let it cook for about two hours, and then I'm going to start taking the temperature. And when it reaches temperature, we'll take it out of the oven. So I'll be back with you whenever the bird gets to that point. Okay, this turkey's been cooking just a little over 2 hours, so time to check the temperature on it real quick. So again, in a roasting oven, the skin doesn't brown, so that's why it's not real pretty looking right now. But let me get rid of this lid for a second. And then don't ever trust the thermometer that comes in the turkey. Get you a little easy to read, instant read digital thermometer. You're going to insert it in the thigh towards the body. And we're looking for about 180 degrees. If you can get it from 175 to 180, it's about what we're looking for. And we're reading about 165, so it needs to cook just a little bit longer. So I'm going to give it about another 30 minutes probably. Alright, so it's been about another 20 minutes. We're going to check the turkey again here real quick and see if it's done. So, well, keep hitting bone. There we go. Yeah, we're done. It's at 178 climbing. Yeah. It's going to get to 180, but anyway, you get the idea here. It's done. So, turn the oven off. I'm going to let that sit in there for about 5 minutes with the lid on, and then remove it, and I'd let it rest for 15-20 minutes, well, probably 20-30 minutes at least on maybe a cutting board covered with some foil. to keep it from drying out, and let it cool down just a little bit before you carve it. And you're ready to carve that bird and serve it. So thanks again for watching. Hope you learned something. If you have questions, comments, or tips or techniques that you use, feel free to leave them. I love to see what other people are doing. And thanks again for watching, and as always, God bless.